1, 2, 3. If you can hear me, please let me know if you can hear me. We are live with Coach Ugo. A bit of distraction there, but we are getting back in a moment. Guys, thank you for joining us. We are back again. I'm just organizing for my coach to join me, my guests, in a moment. Sorry about that. How does that sound? Are we better now?
Yes.
This is okay. Okay. Awesome. So let's continue, and thank you so much.
Okay.
So welcome, guys, and thank you for sticking around in spite of the challenges. We get this many times that we've gotten used to rising up every time there's a challenge. Isn't this parenting is all about? We're talking about conscious parenting today, and thank you for joining us. Coach, take it up from here. Introduce yourself and the topic of conscious parenting, and I will join you in the conversation. Welcome.
All right. Thank you so much. My name is Coach Ogorchukwu Ugolo. I am a productive wife, a passionate mother. I am a cook. I'm into many things. I have lots of passion and I'm into many things. But this is just the little of the things I do. So I am a people's person. I deal with people a lot. So I am a person of impact. And I like dealing with parents. I like dealing with children. And I like dealing with youths, the teenagers. So not until I got into the teenage clique or club, I have always run away from the teenage age. But when I started when I started having my children started getting to that age, I started loving what it is to raise teenagers and youths. So we are talking about conscious parenting. What is conscious? Conscious means intentionality. It means purposefulness. It means being keen to know, being aware of of where we are and where we are going to. It means being present, because until we are present, until we were able to know who we are, we then will not be able to deal with our children. And
That's
as
true.
parents, there's so many things we have learned from our own parents that we have to unlearn, relearn, and modify. Because I won't say I'm not the kind of coach that will say all that our parents taught us was wrong. No.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things that parents taught us, they are actually life skills which have kept us this far. But there are so many things now, as things are evolving, life, everything is changing, and we're moving with change. So we are evolving in our parenting style, in our and learning new skills, nuggets. Like going into Destiny Life Coaching was one of them. Also, creating that awareness. So for us to be able to handle and deal with children, the work of parents is a lifelong one. It's not something that we start and we just finish. We can't even graduate from it. It's something that goes on and on. We become parents, we leave the legacy, we become grandparents, and it goes on and on. And if God keeps us, we become great grandparents.
Yeah.
We live to see our children. And one of the greatest area where we get success is when we see our children doing well spiritually, doing well emotionally, doing well academically, doing well in all ramifications. We're talking about holistic,
Mm,
wholesome. So we
mm,
can't just do these
mm,
things not being aware. We can't just do
yeah.
these things not being conscious. It's not
Mm,
something that we just do haphazard. We just pick and just jump. No, we must be very intentional in what we want to do with our children. These children are not ours, they are gifts from God. So we are going to tell God what we did with our children. I am in the school of thought that there is nobody that can really raise a holistic child without the help of God.
mm,
God is the key factor. And once God is involved, then success is sure. Good
yeah.
success, success. We have successes, but we have good success. So now
Mm,
dealing with parenting is actually very rewarding, but it's also a very challenging job. The challenges are real, and we can't live in denial. Everyone faces one challenge or the other. You can have two, three children, you find out that they have three different personalities. And we cannot actually say this is above the other. They are all unique. We must
yeah.
embrace their uniqueness and we must appreciate them the way they are. That is the
Mm-hmm.
beauty of the creation of who they are. We must love their uniqueness. So some children are easier in the sense that you can say, this is how it is, and the child will buy the idea. Some children seem a little bit, they want to know more why. But when we know why we are parents, the consciousness becomes easy. We
Yeah.
must know why we are parents. Then when we
Yeah.
now know why we are parents, then we now know why we have the children. Then when we
Mm-hmm.
know why we have the children, then we now
Mm-hmm.
know how to pursue our goals, to get to that,
Mm,
as it's a journey. Nobody graduates, like I said, it's a journey, it's a lifelong journey. And one thing that
mm-hmm.
parents must know is there is no perfect parent, neither is there a perfect child.
Yeah.
So there is no perfect parent. You make mistakes here, you realign yourself, you readjust yourself. But there are principles that make principles. So once we
Mm,
work with those principles and we are
mm,
able to work with them, it's just like some people
mm,
say, well, you can say that it doesn't really matter. It does. Because when we were going to school, we had core courses, we had some other courses we were doing just to
yeah.
merge.
Yeah.
So these
Yeah.
ones are principles. So as raising children, there are principles we must follow. There are some
Nice.
principles that are not negotiable. And there
Mm-hmm.
are some things you can then, just like getting to know children, their passion, getting to know their learning styles and all of that. But you won't say your child won't learn. You must still put them in school. In as much as a child can say, oh, I don't want to go to, I don't like reading. But you must find another pattern. So there is no fast and hard rule and not one size fits all. But there are some strategies. There are some strategies we can use to get these children into that good child and that good family cycle. And one of the things we must know as parents, there are some basic needs we must give our children. The basic needs for us is food, we must give them shelter, we must give them clothing. And these are core needs for every child to do well.
Mm-hmm.
Every child needs good shelter, food, and clothes according to the ability of their parents. Okay?
Yeah.
So these are the basics that every child needs. And once this child gets it, and the parents understand, and they can give that safe heaven in their home, because
Yeah.
the achievement and all of this that we are, pursuing here and there, the money, the this and that achievement, goals and this. We need happy environment. Happy family raises happy children. And once a child is happy, the child can learn anything. I have done this for several years. This is what I have done. So the dynamics of raising children, I've done it personally myself. When
Mm-hmm.
raising my children, I raised three good children without a nanny. I did it personally so that I can have tangible. I wanted to have a practical understanding of how children are. So what makes
Nice.
yes, so that we understand what makes them happy. And as long as a child is happy,
Mm-hmm.
nothing, they conquer anything. They can
Yeah.
dream anything, they can do anything, and they can achieve anything. So before we talk about the achievement, you must talk about the environment we create for them. Happy
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
environment, making them
Mm-hmm.
happy and ability to learn. So
Yeah.
we must debunk those. There are some other styles that are not very good in parenting that makes people not very conscious. Like the authoritarian style of parenting. Authoritarian style believes that I'm in control. They want the child
Mm-hmm.
to do this, not giving the child why. And these days, every child wants to know the why. They want to know, why did you say I should sit down? Why did you say I
Yeah.
should stand up? Why did you say I should read my book? So when we make them understand the why, life becomes
Especially
easy.
in Africa,
That's right.
we don't see the need, for the child to know why. The African parent is asking, what? What are you asking why for? So you're saying that is destructive to the child. It's a bit toxic.
Yes. So we don't we
Okay.
don't we don't we don't put them in a box. They need to
Yeah.
understand the reason why. And when they know why, it
Yeah.
becomes easier for them to pursue what they need to pursue. For example, why they need to read. And so
Yeah.
we must create the why, the reason why. And it
Yeah.
starts first with us, parents. Because we must
Yeah.
ask
Okay.
ourselves first, why am I a parent? Then when we finish with
Mm.
the yes, then we go to the
Yeah.
permissive style. After we finish, maybe
Mm-hmm.
the authoritarian style is not a very good style. Okay, there's
Mm-hmm.
some time you used a bit of you mix a little of you merge into many. We have the
Yeah.
permissive style. So the
Mm.
permissive style is the style that the parents, they just they are nice, they are warm, they want the good of the child, but you just allow everything. And it's not, you must create boundaries. You must create boundaries, and guiding the child. So the permissive parent is the one
They're
that's
too nice.
just too nice. That's the word.
Too
And
nice. Yeah.
to the detriment of themselves and the child.
Yeah.
So that's another part. The permissive, everything goes. It's
But you
okay.
realize sometimes one parent is the one that is too strict and too firm, and the other one is just too permissive. How and the kids seem to favor the one that is nice. Of course, this is the best. You're the best. You're my friend. How especially working with couples, do both of us, anyway, you are taking us to what we should be anyway, so but I'm going ahead of time.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Then we have the after the permissive one, which they are nice, they are warm, they want the
Uh-huh.
good of their child, but they don't monitor their child in the sense that, not monitoring in the sense that, like, if for let's give an example, a child says they
Uh-huh.
want to go for a party, I need to
Yes.
know who the parents of the child, organizing the party. How can my child just go for a party and I'm not involved? That's so it's a terrible thing to do, mostly this age and time.
Yeah.
Where a lot of things are going on with children. It may even be a toxic environment. We've had
Mm,
a lot of situations where some children went for parties and they were stabbed. Some children went for
mm,
parties and they were drugged, they were raped, they
mm,
lost their innocence.
mm,
At the end of
mm.
the day, the parent will never forgive they will never forgive themselves. They live
Yeah.
with that guilt and that hurt. Then we have the uninvolved style. The uninvolved style of parenting means they are
Mm-hmm.
not even involved at all. They are not even responsive. They are not responsible for anything the child is doing. They
Yeah.
just supply this, just pick whatever, random, okay, whatever you're doing, it's okay. They don't want to know. They are not involved. I'm too tired to listen to this. I'm too busy. The very
Mm-hmm.
tired, the very busy one. and they are selfish. Those parents are very selfish. They never want to know, because parenting means you have to go out of your comfort zone. You have to go out of your comfort zone to know about the child's well-being. So those ones are never, and it's actually very inappropriate to be involved in whatever the child is doing. Then, of course, we have the involved parent, the conscious parent, the parent
Yeah.
that is present, the
Mm-hmm.
parent that is willing unconditional love. That does not mean that the child will not misbehave. Of course, the child will always do things that we may not like, but you don't look at you may not like that particular thing, the behavior, but
Yeah.
you love your child. So the child,
All the time.
all the time, we must
Mm.
detach the behavior from the child.
Yeah.
Child deserves love. So we must love that child, and it's in love that we can actually correct the child. Because if we don't love, which is connection, how do we correct? But many times we want to correct without connecting, and it doesn't work that
Mm.
way. So that's where the rebelling, the tantrum, and those funny behaviors come in. Like I remember, because I have different ages of children, I remember growing up with them. Just a hug, just hugging them. I see them. A hug means a lot to a child, not
Mm.
the gifts, the hug. They want hug. Sometimes they want presence. Sometimes the child, just like a cat wants you to cuddle. They want to cuddle. They want to feel you. They want to be around you. So we must give them that space, and they should enjoy being with us. And home is a place where anything is better. Greatness is better. So it starts from the home. Greatness is bettered from the home. So once
Mm.
we do it right from our home, we give the children that joy. And always, we must always also look at their abilities, because a lot of parents will look at it, oh no, it must be like this, it must be like that. There are no particular stuff, but there are some principles. We must boost our child's self-confidence by encouraging them, and
Totally.
encouraging, that's where their self-esteem, they're not easily
Mm-hmm.
bullied. So once their self-esteem is in place, we boost it. So all these things, we praise them for the little, little things, for the big things, for the middle things, anything in between, we praise them.
Yeah.
Speak to them carefully. When we started having a teenager, I started finding out that the way we speak to the little ones, you just want them
Mm.
to do something, it grows,
Yeah.
deeper. With the teenagers now are now the youth, they are now different, because we have to walk through them. We're talking about their body, everything about them is changing. Psychologically, they are changing. Everything about their body is changing. So they are going through a phase.
Yeah.
So we now, as a parent, you become calmer. You now
Mm.
start feeling for them.
Mm.
Start
Yeah.
showing empathy when they don't
Mm.
feel in the mood. So we start looking for how to, create the right mood, to set the pace. And for us as parents, also, we must be very exciting. We must look for creative way, because I believe in creativity, creative way to catch the child. Oh, you see, like like the boys, they like sports. Like my sons, they love sports. So you
Mm-hmm.
know that through the sporting activity, you cannot create a safe space. Then they can start expressing themselves, start talking about, you start saying, what are you feeling? How do you feel? What are you facing? And they start talking. So
Mm.
we must speak with them carefully. Then we must
Mm.
catch them when they are doing good, because we are very critical. Parents are very critical. We always criticize, and it's only the wrong things we see. We see more of the wrong things than the right things. So when we
Yeah.
criticize every time criticizing, the child is not even looking up to anything. They just do whatever. But when the
Mm.
little things, we are not there, they do the little, little things, and it adds up. So we must also praise them, catch them when they do good things. Set limits. We must be consistent with our discipline as well. Also, we parents, because we are the ones setting the pace, we must be disciplined as well. If we put rules in a home, like for example, we put a rule that this is the time for prayer, it must be the time for prayer, this is the time for dinner, this is the time for this and that, and so many other things. Then we must create time for our children. We've dealt a lot with this when they talk about quality time and quantity time. I'm not in the school of thought that, okay, well, I was a stay-at-home mom for a long time, but I I actually maximize the opportunity. Some people have to work, but you must create that quality time. Some people
Yeah.
can be home. Some parents are home from morning to night, but they are not impacting their children. They are not adding any value.
Mm.
That is where the
Mm.
consciousness comes into play. So we must create time for our children, just like we create time for our career, we create time for our job, we create time for this, we create time for our hair, we create time to do one thing or the other. We must create time for our children, being also good role model, be available, and we must make communication a major priority in our,
Wow.
yes, communication.
Amazing. Amazing. And I mean, you talked about the kids needing that hug and needing to be seen and to be appreciated. And many families, the kids are hiding, they are not there to be seen. And I know that's it's a big need for the child, that they want to be seen, they want to be appreciated and be seen that they exist. I know, especially from the context, the African context, the child is the most insignificant person. Okay. And so they are made unseen. They are only, seen when there is something that needs to be done. Go and do that, go and do that. But after that, you are not seen. And that's why most of the time, coach, these children will do some funny things to call out attention so they can be seen. Okay, so they'll do things, getting into drugs. They are meeting their need to be seen. It's because they have not been seen. Now they are shouting. And then what do you do as a parent? We even hurt them more, because we tell them you're not enough, something is missing. Yeah, but I appreciate that. How can we encourage the child to feel safe? How can we make our home environment safe so that kids can shine in a way that they want to be seen, and you don't have to hide? Because this is where people actually, low self-esteem, people hide in their careers, in their performance, because you've been told you're not worthy to be seen, you're not enough. And you talked about comparison also, but is there something else that we can do to encourage that child to self-express and to know that they are free in this environment to be who they were born to be?
Yes.
Anything else you can add there? Yeah.
One of the major ways to encourage children is, first of all, we must embrace their uniqueness. We must
Mm.
know that they are unique in their ways, and we
Yeah.
must. So, one of the experience I personally, I
Mhm.
use is, when our children were growing up, I had to take time. Like I said, I did it all by myself. I refused
Yeah.
to let anyone. Of course, we had to do a lot of travels and all that.
Mhm.
Combined with my
Mhm.
husband's job and career and all that. So,
Mhm.
being with the children, I started seeing the things that each of them enjoy, what
Yeah.
makes them happy, what excites
Mm.
them,
Mm.
and I started building on their strengths.
Mm.
So
Mm.
the
Mm.
things, and we expose them to a lot of things,
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. So we expose our children personally to, apart from good education, good quality education, which is
Mhm.
very foundational,
Mhm.
we encouraged them. We started sports, and I looked
Mhm.
at it that anybody can just play anything, kick the ball, whatever, So, sporting activities, and for boys, it comes naturally for them, you
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
for so they love sports. So that's another way to get them. Then edutainment, there are things to educate children. We're talking about like things of drama. We're talking about music, like, we expose our children to lots of music instruments, playing instruments,
Yeah.
like,
Wow.
each of them play like two instruments each,
Mm.
like my daughter,
Mm.
you know what, I have them like piano, we have a violin, we have a
Mhm.
saxophonist, we have different kind. In fact, we have a band and orchestra in our home, because they are exposed to different things.
Yeah.
Everyone pursues whatever they feel that is what they like. So children always want to feel important. And that,
Yes.
and when we are taking
Yes.
decisions, we getting them involved, giving them some, giving them choices,
Mhm.
it's either this or that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you give
Mm-hmm.
them those choices, so when they say
Yeah.
it's either this or, so they know
Yeah.
that you have to pick one, you know.
Yes.
So whether you do a violin or you do so those kind of things, and the exposure to many things also helps, because
Nice.
one thing I started noticing that when children start growing up, they start getting a little bit in between. They want to try to be moody or whatever. So when you have to more, look at who their friends are, so who they are, because it's important who we expose our children to, who speaks to them. You find that a child is good at particular things, but once they get into someone who is unmotivated from their own home through their own parental negligence, they want to put it on another person who is doing so well.
Mm,
Like I
mm,
remember even when they were growing, in their school, I told them, you don't look at external, it's more of internal. And
yeah,
internal,
that's
talking
true.
about internal value, your happiness, your self-confidence, kindness, sharing, giving. These are values, these are skills. Because the needs of humans are insatiable. If you talk about money, you keep looking for it, more, more,
Yeah.
more. It doesn't satisfy. But
Mm,
simple laughter, as simple as it is,
mm,
you laugh, you're
mm.
happy, you're satisfied, you go to rest.
Nice.
Those
Nice.
happiness, sharing. We told them how to share. You give to someone, you just feel good. I
Mm,
got this little pencil and I bought it and I'm giving it to you, just putting a smile on someone's face. Because
yeah.
consistently, we kept on going to orphanages, we kept on going to homes, so those little, little things. And you find out that when they start doing many of these different things, they are never depressed, and they're never reacting to something, because there's always something to be done. So if you're
Yeah.
not in sports, then maybe there's music, because we can't force every child.
Variety.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So, guys, if you're online, let us know from where you're listening to, this talk on parenting, on conscious parenting. Coach Ogorchukwu has shared brilliant ideas here that can help us as families, that can help us as a generation to raise confident, responsible uh, children, and also, families that are families of purpose, impact, and a sense of responsibility. So I'll just point out a few of the key things here. Number one, it's clear that children have a high need to be seen, to be noticed, and it's for you to actually create that environment for your child to be seen. Love them, touch them, encourage them, cheer them up, tell them, yes, you've done it, even when they are not the best in class. Because some of us, we are waiting for our kids to be the best in class, and we even lie to them and tell them, your daddy and mommy were number one and number two. In fact, we were always number one and two. No, 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 no. Be open with your children. They are there to be seen, because the moment they realize you're perfect, but them, they are not, they hide, they shrink, and they lose their sense of identity. Another thing I've got is they want to be heard. Your child needs to be heard. Their voices needs to be heard. They need to be heard. Whatever way they can express their voices, whether it's through playing an instrument, whatever it is, let them express themselves. You never know. You never know. But some of us that we are used to the familiar ground of silencing our children, this is an opportunity to connect with Coach Ogorchukwu, and she can help you also as a parent, because it begins with us, even before we talk about your child. I also got the physical confidence. I mean, it's good for you as a parent to have that confidence and trust in your child. Even when they are falling, let them fall. There's that. Sometimes I think, Coach, we help our kids also too much. When you're afraid as a parent, then your child cannot even fall. And so they'll never know what it means to rise up, because you're always there holding them too much. So you need also to give them that space to grow their own confidence, to know what it means to fail. Sometimes I watched a video some time back of this little girl. The girl is like 2 years old, and the mom is at a distance somewhere, and she's holding a walking stick, and it's a muddy road, and the mom refused to help her. And she would slide all the way to the water and rise up. The mud is on her hands, and the mom did not help her, let her stand up again and again. And I'm like, oh, please help. But that's good parenting, because sometimes you want to let your kids go through their own challenges so they can learn how to rise up, because you never know. Tomorrow I may not be there, you may not be there. And so if you taught your children that you're their God, you're their everything, they cannot stand on their own, then you're not teaching the responsibility we are learning from this show today, from Coach Ogorchukwu. The other thing is, the space for self-expression. To be yourself, express yourself, that freedom. I like that, because this is how we create health, a sense of health parenting, conscious parenting, being present, being there, allowing them, their voices to be heard. You'll be proud that you did this, because this is what I believe. It's not what you leave for your kids, it's what you leave in your kids that really counts. So, Coach, any final thoughts? I was just summarizing what I got from you. But any final thoughts on this subject, conscious parenting? And those who are online, if you have any questions, drop it on the chat. Any question on conscious parenting, drop it on the chat there, so we can have it answered either today or next week. We'll make sure this show we come again. Of course, there was some time interruption, so we will come back again soon. But if you have a question, let us know on the chat. So, Coach, any parting shot or something else that you'd like to share on this subject?
Okay, thank you. There's something, as I was going through the journey of
Hmm.
parenting, and
Yeah.
like I called my daughter, and we were cooking, because
Hmm.
cooking is actually a life skill, it's a skill for survival. So we're
Yeah.
cooking together,
Yeah.
and so we're cooking because there's so many things we need to teach them early so that we don't start struggling later. So as we're
Hmm.
cooking, and we're there in the kitchen, and we're just doing stuff, and that's one of the times we share our lighter moods. So my daughter now told me, just looking at our home, he said, do you know every child deserves a home, but not
Hmm.
every home deserves a child? So
Oh,
I
that's
was
a deep
like,
one.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I was like,
I like that.
so I was like,
Yeah.
why do you say that? He said,
Yeah.
just the fact that you are just being there to guide, to cheer, to support, you know,
Yeah.
even in the
Yeah.
teaching, because many times we blame. You say, you're not doing your homework, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. But how many times do we read with these children? Like
Yeah.
our children started reading very early as 3. 2, they were already doing picture reading. At 3, they were reading. 4, they were
Mm.
already reading. So when they went to school, it was like sounding like these ones are geniuses. But every child can be a genius. It all
Yeah.
depends on what
Yeah.
we do with the children from their formative age. And once they
Mm.
get to a particular age, the good news that it's still doable to get it right, but it's with more you spend more time, and it's a little bit more difficult. But when you are able to know who they are
Hmm.
personally, like I told you,
Hmm.
I play with them on the sand, I run with them, through shopping,
Nice.
everything together. So that is when you'll be able
Nice.
to know what they are capable of doing. And you now
Yeah.
see that every child is unstoppable as long as
Yeah.
they are exposed to those opportunities. They can dream
Mm.
big, they can do big
Mm.
things, they can write. In fact, she started writing her stories from the age of 7, her
Wow.
imagination to write, because one of the things we
Mm.
exposed them to was book, you know.
Mm.
And in my
Mm.
house, there are some people they still like the book, but not so much. There are some that like
Mm.
it so well, but some in between they like the book, but it's not as deep as some. So that's why I say the
Yeah.
uniqueness. So we must create as parents, and we must be conscious, so that when our children go to school, nobody can talk them down. They are not
Mm.
easily
Mm.
bullied. They know who they
Mm.
are. They know their worth. They know their
Yeah.
identity. They are not
Yeah.
conditioned. Their happiness and joy is not by belonging to a friend or a clique. They know who
Mm,
they are. You know, some people say,
awesome.
listen, they don't like me, they don't like me, or this one is not my friend. Be your friend first. So when you love yourself, that attraction will draw
Yeah,
people to you. When you
that's
know your
right.
worth, people will come to you. So
That's right. Wow. Awesome.
thank you.
Well done. When you know your worth, people will come to you. People will come to you. You don't need to run after people. People will come to you. And this is even a subject for all of us, even parents. I know parents, because of their insecurities, they hurt their kids. You are hurting as a parent because perhaps you went through some hurting parenting. That does not have to continue. The reason you are alive today is this is an opportunity to change things for the next generation. And you can decide right now that this ends with me, that this is not going to continue in the next generation. And it's all about how you accept yourself, deal with your own insecurities, because hurting people continue to hurt people. Hurting people hurt people. And you continue to hurt your kids. And because they are your kids, a sense of ownership there, then you feel you can do with them anything you want. Let me correct you there. They are not your kids. These are God's creation. You'll be answerable. All of us, we will be one day to the one who owns everything. Thank you so much, and thank you, Coach. Thank you for joining me in the show, and looking forward to host you again. We will share your contacts down there so that, guys, you can reach out to the coach, and courtesy of this show, you can get the first consultation session free. Go call her, reach out to her. You can get the first consultation conversation free. And then after that, you can, create a program with the coach, one that can transform not only your family, but your generation for the glory of God. Thank you
Thank you
and
so much.
God bless.
Thank you. Thank you for having
Bye.
me. Bye now.